Blog Talk Radio.
Aziz, Aziz,
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Black by God, live call-in talk show. I let that intro ride a little bit because I know my co-host, John Kemet Shabazz, enjoys it. John, are you still on the line? I think he might have dropped off. Well, everybody, John, are you there?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Crystal.
we can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. That's John Kemet Shabazz L. I'm a Moor. Okay, so I want my
John.
Moorish brothers and sisters out there to. Did you set me up, Crystal? Because you know I was going to say that. Okay.
No. I was just explaining that I was letting that intro ride a little bit because I know you enjoy it, and then I got a message that said the call had dropped. I got a little nervous, but you're here. Yes, Mr. John Kemet Shabazz L.
All right. We got a blazing show tonight. So I'm here with the Shabazz Report, representing from the Upper Monongahela River Valley. Okay, de facto West Virginia. Let's get into it, brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So tonight I'm super excited. We have a special guest, and we're going to be talking about Mr. Benny Marcelli, and we're going to be talking about the contract for Black America. And if you give it a quick Google, if you haven't read it, we've also put a link in our show notes. And, it was a hot topic this week with Mr. Ice Cube making the news circles. And I'm super excited to have Mr. Benny come on, and he's with us now. So, Benny, why don't you tell us who you are and a little bit about the contract for Black America?
Okay, well, hello, everybody. My name is Benny Marcelli. I'm originally from Charleston, West Virginia, West Side. I just graduated from West Virginia State University, class of 2020, so I am a Yellow Jacket alum, HBCU stand-up. So,
all right.
Yeah, for sure. The contract with Black America is it's basically a contract that some guys drafted, and I think Ice Cube was one of the first people with like a real serious platform to really promote the contract. And so it just has the contract with Black America. It's like it's a bill that like creates Black opportunity and representation. It's trying to regress like the past wrongs that systematically were imposed on Black Americans economically through many generations. And it resulted in a wealth gap where like the average white family has 10 times more wealth than that of a Black family. And in addition to that, some economic initiatives that's within the platform, and like it's also looking for a formal apology for Black Americans for past discrimination and slavery. I just read through the contract, and I wanted to adopt it into my platform because a lot of the amendments and stuff that were within the contract, it pertained to me. Long story short, I got caught up in 1999 in the war on drugs. I got a drug conspiracy charge. I spent 12 years in federal prison. And, so I got out of prison, worked my way, bust my butt, this, that, and the third. And I went to college and eventually ended up graduating in this year, 2020, in the middle of COVID. So, things are already tough enough for us. You know what I'm saying? And I was just looking to try to give myself a little extra edge with, with the education. And I mean, it's just still rough for a brother because we lived through a lot of these things day in and day out. And so, like, I've done a lot of speaking, a lot of community organizing and protesting and all of that stuff. And so that's one of my things that I do is I speak, and I'm launching a platform as a motivational speaker. And I held an event to present the contract with Black America to some of the candidates that are, running for some of our state offices here in West Virginia. And a few of them were very receptive to it. And so, yeah, that's basically, the long story short of the contract, and how I'm rocking with it.
Okay. Now, Crystal?
Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
I'll go first. Okay. Well, Ice Cube has submitted the contract to the Republicans and Democrats on the national level. Okay, he puts them on notice of these things that are in our best interest. Now, you said here in the state of West Virginia, what you did is you took Ice Cube, what he had done, and you submitted it to some here on the state level.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
I presented it. We just basically had a town hall. My cousin got a pizza joint down here called The Anchor. And I just held a town hall, invited some of the people that I work with on the West Virginia Can't Wait campaign and a few other of the people that's running for offices down here. A few of them showed up. A few community organizers showed up. And I just gave them a rundown of what the platform was, just like an overall view and brought it to their attention and stuff. And just basically to kind of see, at the town hall, exactly.
Yeah. Now, real quickly, I wanted to ask you, what was the date of that town hall meeting? Was that this year?
That was in September. I think it was the second Tuesday in September.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in real quick. Not to cut you off, John, but
I think it was the 8th.
The flyer is actually in the show notes. That was the date that you had the candidate forum.
September 8th.
Mm-hmm. September 8th.
September 8th. Mm-hmm.
So you
yes.
So you was able to present it to all the candidates running for governor, like for instance.
No, not
the guy running for governor.
Yeah,
okay,
a lot of these guys, they weren't. The people that came were Rusty Williams, Miss Danielle sent some of her representatives down there. Miss Danielle Walker, Miss Paula Jean Swearinger sent some of the representatives from her camp. Miss Kathy Kunkel came. Rusty came. Samantha Joe, she came. And it was some other people who were just like organizers down here that's like in the ACLU and stuff like that. It was a good mix of people, though.
And it was such a bold step and so necessary. Yeah, I just really, that's how I found. That's how I found out that you were doing this work, Benny. Was to organize a town hall specifically around to discuss and talk about the contract for Black America. And I just want to shout out those folks that did show up because, Rusty Williams is a strong candidate. I know I fully support him. Fully support Kathy Kunkel. I'm not surprised about the people that showed up, and I'm not surprised about the people that didn't show up. I think that it was so important, and what I think that town hall did was introduce the contract with Black America, and now we can sort of see the platform and see what we're kind of talking about here today is it's a national contract, but how does that filter down to West Virginia? I mean, what are your thoughts around that after the town hall?
Well, so you have to remember that, like, West Virginia has one of the highest rates for incarceration as it pertains to African Americans within the state. You know, as a percentage of the population, we have one of the highest rates of being incarcerated as opposed to every other state in the country. So, like, I wanted to bring it to their attention because a lot of this stuff isn't being documented. Like, within the in their plan, the West Virginia Can't Wait platform. I used to work for them, and I was reading over their plan a lot, and it just surprised me that, like, you know, wasn't a lot of data when it comes to demographics and stuff like that when it as it relates to arrest records. So you can't keep track of who's going in and what the percentages are. And when I saw the numbers and they were released them, I was like, whoa. But really, it kind of made sense to me because it just seemed like everybody in my neighborhood got locked up anyway. You know, so I mean, the contract, wherever we are, and in West Virginia, it's like pockets of black people. Everywhere you go, it's, you know, Bluefield, Huntington, Beckley, Martinsburg. I just went up, seen my man up in Martinsburg. Surprised the you know what out of me because that was my first time being in the Northern Panhandle. And I mean, it's just like everywhere you go, you have, you know, black people here, but it's in pockets within the state. And we feel as if like we're not being heard, nobody's listening or anything. The opportunities aren't there to advance or to succeed or nothing. And a lot of the stuff that's in the platform, we like actually don't realize how much it affects us unless we have, you know, either been reading up on it or follow, you know, not only just politics, but, you know, the economic, what our economic situation and stuff is like that. A lot of us don't follow it. So, like, we have to be the ones to establish the platform that speaks for us here in the community. And the community is the West Virginia community because, you know, like I said, we got to bring it together. And, you know, so, like, that was my main thing. I honestly, I've really been riding, like, all summer since the protest kicked off, you know, like, riding around, like, trying to get people together. I've been in Clarksburg, Martinsburg, Beckley, I mean, everywhere. And, like, people want to come together. That's our natural instinct in West Virginia. But we just have, like, way too much misinformation going on. And so, like, whatever I try to do with, like, a speaking platform or a talk show or whatever, I try to promote, like, what truth is, you know. And a lot of the stuff in the platform is truth as it pertains to us black people and how it could be used for us to benefit and succeed just like everybody else in this country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is I look at this as an emergency situation, Crystal. Like when we did the town hall meeting, the National International Day of Action and Unity, we specifically set forth that we had been gentrified. You know, in our communities here in West Virginia, they weren't as big as some of the urban areas, but we still had communities, okay? And as a result, from my perspective, of the crack epidemic and economic difficulties and so forth, geographical difficulties, we found ourselves going through gentrification compounded. So it was necessary for us to demand immediate attention. And so along with other peoples throughout the nation at that particular time. So initially when I heard the thing about Ice Cube, I disregarded it, okay, because I thought this was celebrities attempting, not getting as much attention as they used to get. I watched Kanye West get out there and do his clown and dance show, And when I seen Ice Cube come through, I really didn't take the time to look closely at what he was saying. I just even though I like his music, within the last month or so, I said to myself, I better take time to actually read that contract. After reading it and listening to what you had to say, as well as others. Shout out to people like Professor Griff, all the other talk show people that I listen to, and making an assessment or analysis about whether or not this was legitimate for us. And I believe that it is. It's a better shot, as far as I'm concerned, than voting Democrat or Republican. What you do is you put both of those parties on notice with your demand. Okay?
Right.
And so this is where we should be at, putting both parties on notice with our demands. And whoever can do something for us, whoever can, no matter who it looks like, is who gives us what we need out of those demands.
You know what? I don't mean to interrupt you. But
no, you're fine.
I'm gonna just speak to this, like with the situation with Q, and it was tricky, right? I just think that he got played by. He kind of got played. Like, listen, let's be honest. You can't work with this administration, bro. I mean, like they only got one person's best interest at heart. That's Donald Trump. It's not nobody else's, right? So like with that situation, and and dealing with that, and him bringing it to them, and really, I understand presenting the platform to him, but it's just tricky. I just think he kind of went a little too far with it, man, because this dude got a track record, bro. I mean, he takes his own people down with him. Like, you can't forget that.
They tried.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they tried to put it. I feel you, bro. They did try to put a spin on it, but it's more important that he actually put them on proper notice with this agenda.
Of course. I'm with that. I'm with that 100%. I mean, because actually my thing is I'm with the platform. Like I said, man, I did 12 years in prison. We got to see it in black and white. Anybody can tell you anything, but like me. Like I said, I read the platform like when it first came out and was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this, and I'm going to, because it has everything in there, and each amendment refers back to the other. They all support each other, and most importantly, at the end, the last amendment, when they started talking about black responsibilities, like that's one of the things that, for me, like as I was breaking it whole down in my little presentation, when I got to the end and started talking about responsibility, you understand? I mean, that hit me because, like, I got a 22-year-old daughter that's grown and married. I didn't have no relationship with because I was gone and locked up in prison. But my 9-year-old daughter, she in the other room right now, and, she's like attached at the hip with her dad, because I took the time out to really raise this baby. And, like a lot of that is due to the fact that I didn't have a relationship with my oldest baby. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we have to start stepping up and taking responsibility for ourselves and what we done. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of brothers, like, that's what we have to speak on, like our actions. I know what it's like to have to go apologize to somebody that you done wrong. A lot of people ain't out here doing that, and we got to start taking up responsibility.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I like the neo-reconstruction part of the agenda, the contract. He talks about
neo-reconstruction,
things coming specifically to us. Like,
Correct.
He talks about it reflecting back to the Reconstruction period after slavery, where actually black people advanced. It was only the Ku Klux Klan rising up, putting black people in their place, taking their land, and so forth. As a result of those wrongful acts, you've had a lot of people make gains as a result of it. So I tell Caucasians that I'm cool with. If I was white, I would want to go ahead on and take care of this. Go ahead on and start paying reparations.
And get it out the way. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. We can't go. We can't keep. And that's the thing, bro. Like, for real, like, it's crazy you said that, because, like, when we had, like, a little protest over here over the summer, we had big protests. I was out here every day on the front line. And, like, I had to go back to the neighborhood, and I didn't caught myself barking down on the homies like, bro, like, you got all these white people out here, Muslim people out here, old ladies, a nun, you know, and I didn't have to sit down and have a conversation with the nun lady. I done got turned up and got the cursing and everything. The lady like, no, baby, you need to say what you need to say in your own words. But I'm like, how is all these people out here fighting for us, bro? And ain't none of y'all out here.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
you talking about you talking about your homeboys.
I mean, no, not honestly, not my homeboys, because, like, we all online. Like, my people all married with kids and everything. Like, we come out with the kids and all of that. You know what I'm saying? With the sticks and everything. Ain't nothing happening. But just like the little homies in the neighborhood, like, bro, these people is over here trying to fight for you to at least have something to sustain yourself, bro. You know, and
yes,
I mean,
sir.
like, y'all can't walk up the street 5 blocks, man, to come and show the support that, you know, that's affecting you in your day in and day out livelihood. You know, so
well,
right,
I think
right.
I just want to jump in real quick and just say, you know, one of the reasons that we're together tonight and sharing all of our platforms. You know, I'm creating Black by God. You know, we've got the Shabazz report. You know, Benny, you've got your podcast. And one of the things that, in addition to this wealth gap that America and that this platform talks about, is also we have an information gap. And so the reason that I am creating the Black by God platform is because we haven't had a Black-centered news platform for 20 years. We do not have Black reporters. We have an information gap. So, you know, and we also have a media literacy gap. Everybody has a cell phone in their hands, and everybody has access to, you know, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. But, you know, how those platforms are actually, you know, changing the narrative. And we know that that's true because we know how the last election was manipulated through, you know, through these platforms. So I'm just here to say, you know, my contribution, what I'm trying to help support is getting the information out and getting the information to the people so that they can, you know, be aware. Just like, you know, sharing these points of the platform. I mean, there's 13 powerful statements here that, you know, open up so much conversation. You know, build a guaranteed Black opportunity and representation, and then, you know, breaking that down, a plan of, you know, reconstruction, bank and lending reform, federal funding of baby bonds. Yeah, Federal Reserve government pensions, financial oversight, personal data and credit. What people don't know, I'm going to stop right there because people don't understand. When you go on Facebook, when you go on Twitter, when you go on Instagram, it's your data and somebody else is selling it. It is no different than literally it's no different than mining the coal and then letting somebody else sell it and not pay you. No different than picking cotton and not getting paid for it. We are literally giving away all of our data. 7, prison reform.
Crystal.
8,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
I had a presentation on that particular topic, right? And so listen, I just kind of broke it down like this because, like, things are made simple for us, right? So I just broke it down like this. Whenever you go on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and you are uploading a video or whatever, that's cool. All right, no problem. Take the picture or take the video from your phone first. The data is yours first. And then you go ahead and upload it. So, I mean, like, let's because like it's not we. A lot of people just not going to shut off and be hermits, but we have to start walking them step by step, and that one step right there can help you retain your rights, because you got to remember, a lot of people just, like you said, mine data out here, take whatever pictures, words, whatever, likeness, whatever, and they use it for their advantage. Now, if you just upload it to the platform, then it's for the platform to keep. It's their personal asset. But if you take it on the phone first and then upload it from your phone, it's your phone's asset that you upload it to the platform. So I mean, it's like that, man. Like, I mean, like a lot of this stuff, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you or like go long or nothing, but
no.
As you're saying, like I want to set a platform to get information out. I mean, like, God, man, that's what I want to do. Like I said, I just graduated college, was in prison for 12 years. I'm like somebody in the hood that's like really a nerd at heart. You know what I'm saying? And I love breaking down information, deciphering information, taking big long platforms, breaking it down to where it's a little 15-point PowerPoint and giving it to my people, because it's way too much misinformation out here that they being presented with, and they running with it like it's true. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, and you're doing that. You're doing that, and the Shabazz report is doing that, and it's a matter of keeping the consistency, keeping it, and meeting people where they are. I mean, I guess it's sort of like not only are we up against this huge wealth gap, we're up against this information gap, and then what it does is it's sort of like once you know better, you can do better. I truly believe that, and I just see that a lot of the information. I mean, John's spent plenty of time in a law library breaking down complex things. We need those people to kind of take these complex subjects and break them down, and for real people to understand. I've experienced this at the legislature when I lobby. A lot of times we talk in policy speak. We say Bill 65239, blah, blah, blah. It's got to go through this committee. It's got to do this. And, people don't understand how the legislative process works. And all that is by design.
Right.
The city council meeting is not complicated. None of this is complicated if you can just break through and see the system and how it works. And I know, once you see the truth, it's hard to unsee the truth. But so let me ask this question for both of you all. Like, what do we need to tell West Virginia about this platform? What are we going to do about this platform and how it can be applied in West Virginia? What do we have? Do we have an opportunity?
I'll let you handle that one, John. Okay, John, he might not be on there, but I mean, for me, I'm gonna continue promoting the platform. Honestly, Crystal, like I just feel like right now, like we in a toxic environment right now, so we got to square this election out first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's first things first. We got to get out here and go vote. Everybody. I done already turned mine in. Everybody that I know, even my 85-year-old grandmother done already turned her vote in. So, I mean, like, we have to go out here and engage in what our responsibilities are to our society. And, so you're like, that's right now, that's the main thing that hey, listen, go vote, because we got to square this situation out first. I mean, you see, they're not trying to give no relief to it, and there's people out here going through it. I mean, really going through it. I mean, and so yeah, my bad, John.
Oh no, I was just saying, I was listening to you, and my mute button went on. I wanted to tell you about this legacy of inequality the Racial and Economic Disparities Report from back in 2010.
Okay.
There hasn't been another report done as far as I'm concerned. It hasn't been another report that I've seen that would match this one. Okay, where they do a follow-up report giving you statistics. Our position is that we got to demand our fair share on a city level, a county level, a statewide level,
right,
and the federal level, as well as from the private corporations.
Right.
Okay, so
as well as
this might be visionary. Okay, but we got a right. We got a right to demand our fair share. In the contract with Black America, he's talking about 13.4% of certain contracts must come to Black people. Okay, African Americans, whatever we want to call ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
because we are that percentage of the population.
Right, and that's on the national level. Okay, but on the state level,
yes, sir.
On the county level, and the city level, we must demand the same thing based upon our percentages. That would be fair. Not getting what we're supposed to have. They're hiding that. They're even going to the extent, when I say they, the current establishment, even going to the extent of not keeping the records the way that they're supposed to, because if they keep the records, that ends up being prima facie evidence against them.
Exactly.
So we use the platform to expose them that they're not keeping proper policy up under their own rules. They're trying to cover, and it takes a special investigation a lot of times to go in, because the Attorney General, he might be covering for this type of activity. Okay, because the resources are staying among his own people.
Mm-hmm.
That's our position. That's my position on it. I'm National Chairman, West Virginia Black Unity Coalition. We did Megan Williams' hate crimes case back in 2007. And it gives us a charge to be able to say, hey, you're not doing things right. But we got to be able to prove it.
Right.
Okay. Well, as I was telling you about that statistical report, that those statistical disparities are prima facie evidence. I don't know why we haven't took it to court, because it looks like we're not going to be heard in any other way.
And one thing
and
also
you're
about
exactly right.
Folks, it just seems like are in West Virginia, the taking the legal action. There doesn't seem to be a unified sort of community to push things. Because I know another area of concern, at least it's just so obvious to me when you look at the gentrification of Charleston and how Cura funds, and now we've got what is it that the community, Senator Scott, President Trump loves to always celebrate what the plan that Senator Scott has for opportunity zones. Yeah, opportunity zones, and how these earmarked federal monies are supposed to trickle down into communities that, but it's the same system. If you look at who got the opportunity zones in Charleston, right, you'll see that didn't go to the west side of Charleston.
Gets to the people.
No, but this is all over West Virginia, that we can actually show how Cura funds or opportunity zones, that these aren't going to the people, and I really have a concern. Just like you said, like why is there not an organized, show us the data? I don't know what to say about that, but I do know that we do have some recourse, and it's a matter of I don't know. I think people get comfortable perhaps in their. I think people get comfortable and people get tired. That's what I'm noticing. Have been around for a little bit. People get comfortable. You get a position. You get on the board. You got some friends. You don't want to make no noise. Blah blah blah. But then other people that have been out here in the fight saying the same thing. That report, Benny, I'll send it to you. that Joan's talking about, the legacy of inequality. Listen,
Yes.
I just spoke to, the United States Senate Judiciary Committee, and I was not allowed to use that report because the data was old. And what I was trying to say was that this is why I need to talk about this report, because the data is old and there hasn't been anything else, right? So basically, we're in a terrible position because the data is old. So you're like, don't go bring me this old data, but I'm trying to tell you there ain't been no more data since this data, right?
Yeah.
So,
you need to get some.
Yeah.
Now we end up explaining it. Now, Crystal, we have to explain why there isn't no follow-up data, because it is to hide the fact that any additional data that would come out would probably put them in a position. They haven't corrected those statistical disparities. They're charged to correct that once put on notice of that. That's where you're at. This is not the only situation where this has popped up. Okay, the same situation, I was advised by an attorney that I'm close to, happened on the Eastern Panhandle. They were doing gathering statistical data on black drivers in that area, African American drivers. The data showed disparities. After that, they stopped it. I say, you know why they stopped it? They stopped it because it ends up being prima facie evidence if they don't correct the disparities.
This report from 2010, which there have been, when this came out, I don't have the bill numbers here, but you can go back and you can read plenty of op-eds in the Charleston Gazette written by Reverend Watts that reference this report, that reference several bills and things that have been, attempted to amend this. And one of the shocking statistics that is in this report, shocking, it says that children under 5, West Virginia children under 5 in poverty, 57% of black children in West Virginia under 5 are in poverty. That means the babies. Mm-hmm. That's the babies, That's the babies that are and this is, and like I said, this is from 2010. So what people like to say is, well, this is old data. But anything that came out from this report, there's been no effort. And that's why, one of the things I really want to work with you all on this coming legislative session is, especially because now that we have the COVID, we have an opportunity to use our digital resources, and I really think we've got to come together to pay attention to the things that are happening this session at the legislature, because even if we don't see movement on certain bills that could, change these, this legacy of inequality, we can start teaching our people how to pay attention. And I know that when you pay attention, right, just the mere act of bearing witness can change things. And
yes, ma'am.
I'm very passionate about this legislative session, so that old people, young people, in between people know that capital is their capital. And you know what? I just want to say this real fast too. What I love on this contract, on this platform, is right here. It's number 11. It says Confederate monuments and institutions. Let's get them out, because we got a big old statue right there on the corner, right, of General Robert E. Lee, just right there. Yeah, I mean he's
what
proudly
are you talking about,
there.
the Capitol?
Yeah, it needs to go.
Okay, so did you see what happened over the summer, right, when we had the big protest?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And more power.
That's how we do
more
it.
power to Greg Ferguson, though. Greg Ferguson, she has been working on that for over a decade. It's like
exactly.
People have really been putting in work. That's what I said. People get tired and people just get comfortable, and I don't think we have room to be either.
Crystal, I have
no, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Crystal? I have a question for you. Oh, and the other brother. I found out that there's a Martin Luther King Jr. way in Charleston now. Do you see that as
Right.
substantive, or is that something that you see as being substantial, or is it symbolic? Okay.
Well,
in your view.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
Well,
Benny. Go ahead.
you know what? Actually, a lot of people, a lot of people that's from the city right now. Charleston really ain't really from the city, So my family from the city. They come from in the Triangle District, and that's where they put that.
Mm-hmm.
So that Martin Luther King Way, the Court Street, that's symbolic to the people that's originally from Charleston and know, okay, yeah, this is originally where the black people was here. So in any city that you go in the neighborhood, any city that you go, the Martin Luther King Jr. Way is in the black neighborhood, So I talked to my mom and, my auntie and my pops, because that's where, our family and stuff from. And, they kind of digging it. They like it. They think it was long overdue because they still kind of feel salty from, when they tore the Triangle District out right there and really built that interstate in the early 70s. And they displaced a lot of black people, including my family.
That was a black. You're saying that was a black community in there at one time, and when they built that interstate there, it displaced them and took that community out of there.
Yes, correct. Moved everybody. My family, my grandmother and them stayed down on Dickinson Street, which is like that's Court Street. That's Court Street is Martin Luther King Way right now, and so. My grandmother lived on Dickinson Street. Krista, you come right off the freeway right there at Capitol Street and Leon Sullivan. So, where the little parking garage right there, my grandmother's house was right there. And so, like, I remember, like, a lot of this stuff in the early 80s. It was different. The downtown was different then. It was a whole lot of clubs and it was everything cracking off just right there because, that was still the tail end of the black community, and a lot of people still live down in Washington Manor. A lot of that, that was still kind of downtown, but that really is, a lot of people that's from here really appreciate that because we understand like that's the cornerstone of our community. It might be downtown right now, but that's really was originally our community.
Okay.
And that's the story of the Triangle District. We should have a show and talk about that because the story of the Triangle District, really tells not only the story of just, gentrification, racism, how these policies work, but it shows how this happened in all of America. And, my only thought with the Martin Luther King Way is, there was a compromise made with that name. And so it is an honorary Martin Luther King Way, but it's still Court Street. And I think that the battle over the naming, the battle over naming that street just shows where we are. And, meaning, we had to make a compromise. It couldn't just be Martin Luther King Way. It had to be an honorary street that is
honorary
still
Martin Luther King Way.
That is still Court Street in the maps and, all of those things. And it's a symbolic gesture, and that has its purpose and place. But I also think there comes a time and a place where, folks got to say, folks, and this probably wasn't the fight, but I do see just how, very often compromise is often the celebrated decision over direct and immediate action that serves the black community in Charleston and West Virginia as a whole.
Right. You exactly right about that, Kristen.
Yeah. Folks, listen to this. The contract with Black America, I like it, and however, I think it should be tweaked for West Virginia. So we should be able to sit down. When I say West Virginia, West Virginia is broken up into the southern portion, which Charleston might represent it, and this area is broken up into different areas. I think that we should tweak it, take it, and look at that legacy of inequality. Look at the disparities. For instance, home ownership. As far as I'm concerned, or home ownership, or tweaking that system, developing some type of direct, where we could have a direct remedy, not a promise, but you go build a house for somebody that don't got one. That kind of stuff. You put somebody in the house that don't got one.
I'm with that. I mean, listen, we gotta. I mean, it's a lot of things that could be done out here. We have to just start putting one foot in front of the next. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like really, you know, that's all what it's about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because like, I mean, I don't. It's tough because like I'm still in a position if I don't know if I want to be here or not. You know, I mean, you know, West Virginia is cool, but you know, I got the last part of my CDL test coming up Friday, where if you know I pass my CDLs, well not if but when I get my CDLs Friday, like you know I'm going on the road. So like my thing is like I'm gonna want some land. And I'm going to look for some land where the laws are beneficial for me, and the laws aren't going to criminalize my lifestyle, or the laws aren't going to be tailored to suppress me, or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And in this state right now, I mean, at the end of the day, we got to understand the state is 96% white. Like we 3.54% black people in the state. How much movement we expect? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I've been down at those legislative sessions. I'm sure you have too, Crystal. Clay County might seem a long way away from Kanawha County, but it's right up the street, and it's like two totally different worlds. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you could drive just 10 minutes outside of the city, and it's like a whole nother different world. And that's how most of the state is. So, I mean, like, my struggle with moving forward, you know what I'm saying, here is like, man, I don't know if I want to be here. And, like, the laws ain't really set up to benefit me, and any step that I do take is an obstruction right in front of it. I mean, like, man, I love home, but I got to start making a life. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I do know what you're saying, okay, because I'm partly from Pennsylvania, and I've been going back and forth between the two all my life. But as we deal with we have dealt with gentrification here in the last 20 years in a way that I hadn't seen before. And there are good things and there are bad things about West Virginia, okay? And you just have what I do is I weigh it out and assess it, okay? Yes. So you could look at the fact that we 3-4% black of the state's 3-4% of the state's population. You could look at that as a negative, but you could also take that and say, hey, we the original inhabitants. If you got true knowledge of your history. And that's one of the things that we do study, true self-awareness. I think the largest portion of the state's population could claim themselves as original inhabitants. So we are an exceptional people. Even though we're 3-4% of the state's population, we still are an exceptional people, and we must make our demands known based upon facts, actual facts. Okay? Now, you'll get that report when Crystal sends that report to you. You'll get an opportunity to study that and take your young, energetic mind and look at that contract with Black America that Ice Cube has given us and formulate something out of the two. Take two of those pieces and make something for us, a fair share contract, or we can do that. Okay?
Of course.
What he has done, we can do that on
I'm super down with that.
Yeah. What he has done on the national, we can do that on the state and county levels. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kristen.
No, I'm sorry. Absolutely. And we can, one of the things we could do is find ways to just disseminate the idea and the information, through social media platforms, through, and watch how the people move, I want to add this because it just came out, the ACLU, and I'm not sure if either of you are familiar with it, but it's shocking. The ACLU of West Virginia says, yet again, West Virginia finds herself at the top of the national list, and that should alarm us. The report, which it just came out last week, says that the death rate of people incarcerated in West Virginia jails is the highest in any state. Highest in any state in America.
Yeah.
And we know that
actually, go ahead.
Those regional jails are torture. And that's another area where they've ran a game on us, making you know what I mean, because those things have been there since since the 90s.
Yeah,
I think those things are torturous. They're brand new, but they're torturous.
Oh yeah, they are. Bro. Yes, they are.
Now we have to be able to define what torture is and articulate it in the kind of way which raises a legitimate claim. And then we end up having to go back to the same people that cover, because their courts, I got to keep it real, their courts cover for their activities, okay? It justifies their activity. You got a legitimate claim, think you're going to take it to the federal court, you might get hung up for X and X amount of years, and they kick you out and don't give you no play, and it was a legitimate, just claim. It happens all the time to us.
Yeah.
It's how are you gonna ask the people that benefit from us being put in this condition to correct it? You got to depend on their goodwill, but we're still forced to put them on notice of it.
They don't really show too much of that. They don't show too much of that.
See, they don't really show too much goodwill, huh?
No, they don't really. I've been dealing with them too.
How old are you, brother? 44. Okay, because now I'm 57, and I remember a generation where we kind of look for a good white friend. If you had a good white friend and you was in a bad territory, a good white friend to help you out. You have you heard that tale before?
Listen, I've heard that, but I want to tell you about the experience with that. Let me tell you about the experience. I've had good white friends, and still have good white friends, and they are good white friends. But I went through a situation, and I fell down all the way down bad, and so my cousin come and pick me up, and he get me good, get me on my feet. So we talking, and like I had finished a Zoom call with, I think it was one of the campaigns I was working with or something. And so after I got out of the call, he was like, "Cuz, let me put something to you though." He said, on some trill, like, where's all these good white people at when you down bad? You know what I'm saying? When it break left on you. You understand what I'm saying? It's always the set that got to come and put the cape on and come and save you. You know what I'm saying? It's always that. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so at that point, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, because you got to remember, after doing all that time in prison, I'm coming out getting like, all right, man, let me go ahead and educate myself with their education, you know what I'm saying, and see why. And so after Cuz broke it down to me like that, I'm like, man, bro, you know what? You is absolutely right. So we have to understand that, our good white friends is going to be exactly what they are, good white friends, until they show you better. You know what I'm saying? And like I done had good white friends lead me down a rabbit hole, and I done had good white friends that done stayed all the way solid with me. So like, I mean, it's, like we just gotta, like, people gonna show you, people gonna show you their true colors in the long run. I mean, like I just try to keep my guards up, but like at the same time, you know, I already know that things that pertain to them don't really necessarily pertain to me and mine, and I just pass that down to mine, and we just gonna have to understand that.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Baby.
We're gonna have to pool our resources. That's what we're gonna have to do. You know, right? And I'm talking this stuff, and it's the right talk, but we got to actually get it done to pool our resources. I'm a student of Elijah Muhammad. He told us to pull our resources in the 60s, okay? And we went for the integration thing. We went for Burger King over growing our own food, okay? We're going to have to go back and start growing our own food. Yeah, we went for integration, yeah.
That's my long-term goal.
I think integration was imposed on us. I was saying I think integration was imposed on us. I had to study that. And in the state of West Virginia, we had more black schools here in this state than anywhere in the country. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are a self-reliant people, but our gentrification has been compounded, and we're in an emergency situation. We went backwards in the last 20, 40 years. In many ways.
20, 30 years, yeah, of course we went backwards, because I'm telling you, I remember when, like, my grandmother, they ran the clubs, had their own house, like when they had to come through and kick you up out of the neighborhood. Oh, hold up, we gonna be the last ones leaving up out of here because y'all gonna pay us for this, you know.
And you were. I remember your house, Benny.
Yeah.
The last
house.
The
last house right there on Dickinson Street, right downtown.
Yep.
Before y'all make a parking lot out of this,
it was just
gonna
there.
Pay for this one right here.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
It was standing tall and proud.
I mean,
that's a.
Yeah, standing tall and proud. And you know, my grandmother ended up, you know, they cast her out. She moved on the west side, got a bigger house in the west side. You know, so. I mean, but we honestly, we have to take it back to that. Like, we didn't kind of and this is where I speak for people in my generation, because a lot of us got caught up in the war on drugs and got locked up in the 90s, in the late 80s, early 90s. I got wrapped up in the late 90s. So, like, a lot of us actually didn't come out and really pass down the real lessons that we need to be passing to them. We just, I ain't going to say I'm going to say the message that the little homies is getting is all of the nonsense that's been going on since Biggie and Tupac. It's the same thing within the communication medium, right? So, but this is one thing that I'm learning, like, this word woke just ain't pop up out of nowhere. Like, a lot of people is getting aware. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of people aware, but it takes for people like you, John, my brother, that establish platforms and allow us to be us. You know, because a lot of times the talent is there, the willpower, the work is there, and you know, the know-how, the skill and everything. We just don't have the opportunity. And so it takes for us to come down and exactly what you're talking about, establish a platform that offers opportunities, that creates an environment for us to succeed. You know, and I mean, like that's what it is, because I've been dealing with these people, man. I got to a point, I left it alone. I got tired of people trying to subjugate me. Yeah, I'm good. I just graduated. I'm educated and everything. But understand, I'm from the neighborhood, Grand Street, Glenwood Avenue. You understand what I'm saying? It's certain things that, you know, no, I kick it with my people. We barbecue. You know what I'm saying? We gon' kick it.
Right.
You know, and, you know, like, I don't, like, and so when that nun lady spoke to me at the protest, she like, no, baby, you speak, because you got to remember, you were already aggrieved. And she gave me that. It was powerful. I had to go look the word up. I'm the aggrieved. Yeah, baby, you are the aggrieved. You the one that's everybody out here protesting and everything for. So no, we need to hear what you got to say in your words. Don't worry about how everybody else talk or if you were going to offend somebody or something like that, because you the one that's been offended all this time.
Right.
You know,
that's real talk. That's real talk. And we and black men have been, black women, black people have been shot down and spilt, their blood been spilt on this soil. So we can use that as a charge or a base of authority.
Of course,
to speak our truth.
Of course, bro.
Yeah.
Before, I'm sorry, I ain't mean to cut you off, but like when I have my presentations, bro, one of the first things I tell these good flag waving American patriot people is, I want y'all to remember when y'all out here waving all this red, white, and blue, y'all go up to that state capitol at that Vietnam War memorial, and y'all wave a flag for a real American hero, and his name is George Henry Rush Jr. You understand? And that's my grandfather. I ain't never got a chance to meet. While y'all out here waving all this flag, talking about your service to the country and everything, my grandfather ain't never get to come home and see his kids. You understand? So understand that we got blood on this turkey. You understand? And if you ain't gonna do nothing, you gonna respect that. So yeah, that's how we have to talk to him, bro. I had to get away from him. I can't let y'all subjugate what I'm saying. I got to say exactly what I'm saying the way I'm saying it, because it's some brothers somewhere listening that understand exactly what I'm saying, and they need to hear it.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And now, Chris, I wanted to ask him about. He said he was able to put that contract with Black America to a couple politicians, but really, for real, I think it deserves a direct, hit them. I want to get you all's view on that, your perspective, your position on being able to hit. Who's running for governor? Shalango? What's that fellow's name?
Shalango. Man.
Shalango. Now look. Now I do West Virginia Black Unity Coalition, but I believe he needs to be hit with that and ask, and him and Justice. Same thing that Ice Cube has done on the national. To me, since he set the tone, we should be doing it on the state level.
Man,
on a county level.
Listen, man. The people. When I created the first event, I shot it out to my politician people, and then one of the dudes, it was Rusty. Like, bro, I'm gonna call and see if I can get other couple of the candidates that we talking about. Because like I'm right here with these people. Like I deal with them. And so he's like, man, I'm gonna see if I can get him to come down here and talk blah. These people don't want to come, man. They don't even. If you notice, they don't even want to do pop-ups here. They want to talk to their people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well,
so like we got to be the ones to press the line on them.
Right.
Because they, especially not right now. They ain't trying to. They ain't. It's a little too close to the election now.
Right. But serving notice. Like you litigate, you serve each party, and they're placed on notice, and then oftentimes you might have sometimes you might have a default in there if you don't respond within a certain amount of time. We've served you, and we've made you aware of these various demands. Once they, you understand what I'm saying? The contract speaks for itself.
Of course. Yes, sir.
I think that we have an opportunity. I just want to say we do have the Herb Henderson Office of Minority Affairs, which should be the place where this information is received and considered. And so, kind of
exactly
knowing, I think that one, we have to define. I mean, I'm in the Black community. You're in the Black community. We're there, but I don't know where I go when I need help. So that part is still a bit of an ambiguous framework. Meaning, I think that we have been disenfranchised through our organizations, through our quote unquote leaders, through this. And so that creates, a breakdown. It's like there is no sort of unified front. And then when we have things like, and even those unified fronts are dependent on well-meaning white nonprofits. And then you have the Herb Henderson Office of Minority Affairs, which should be the place that is sort of distributing information and the place where we can take a call, but that has its own history. So one of the things that I think that is powerful that where we are all meeting creatively is that we have these platforms. And if we can start using these platforms to disseminate information so that the people can make their own choices and have, things that I think that that's where literally our power lies, because, this is, there's a young leader in West Virginia. I don't know who they are, but I know that they're powerful, and I know that they're strong, and I know that they can, carry a message. And I believe that, and it might be your daughter, and she might need 10 years to grow in this and be supported in it. But we have to create sort of the meeting room, which to me doesn't exist. Yeah. And I've been so jaded myself just in kind of moving through different spaces that I recognize, the well-meaningness isn't helping us. The well-meaningness of good white people is admirable, but it ain't helping. And then, when people do come into so that's my cause for bringing you all together, and that's what I want to do with Black by God is just, we got to take this information, we got to get it out to the people in ways that they can digest. We got to support ourselves, each other, and there's so much work to do. But John, to your point, I would say that if there were to be, I think what Pastor Watts did when he did the 2020, the vision for 2020, that was a no-brainer. That was a beautiful sort of bridge to the contract, to this contract that we're discussing for Black America. That's a national platform. Pastor Watts did the labor for the 2020 vision. He said, look, take this CARES money and put it in the Black community. You put it in the Black community, it's going to rise up the poor white people. He spelled it out. Nothing happened. So I think that, we've got to find, a lot of people I think we're just disenfranchised, literally. I just literally think that,
We're very disenfranchised. We like Brother John said, a lot of us, we disenfranchise ourselves here. We don't give each other a lot of opportunities. Yes.
Yeah. I would tell you, I want to be able to see what Reverend Watts has done, that report or any information. You said he put forth a program to the legislature and they disregarded it.
Yeah.
You said, now look,
just
because they disregarded it, we got to get that. I want to see what he's done and read it for myself and try to, and maybe go back in again. Just because, look, H.R. 40 with the reparations bill, it had to go over and over and over and over again. I'm just saying.
You got to keep pressing them. If we get it, we could check it out and straighten it out and press it back, or press the same bill back. But I understand what you're saying, John, and you're exactly right. We have to press it back to them, just because, like, they didn't want to respond. Right now is the environment. People responding right now. I just had to.
They disregard us all the time. I said we're disregarded all the time. You got to be persistent.
Yes,
not just one time, over and over. Excuse me. Go ahead.
And right now, in this environment, I just want to tell y'all, in this environment right now, this is the environment for it right now. People's ears is open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people's ears are open, and they are people are aware. It's somebody listening right now that like we didn't open somebody's eyes tonight. I promise y'all. You know, so like you said, it's all about being persistent on it. It's crazy you said that, brother, because I named my first speaking platform Dudes Persistence, Elevation 101, Dudes Persistence. But know, we have to show that persistence. Crystal, I put my trust in you to establish a platform, whatever that it is that you feel I could fulfill a role in. I'm definitely down with it. I do a lot of e-communicating and stuff like that. But I'm about to go get some of this truck money right now.
You know,
these people be playing around here, man.
Yeah, we're running out of time here, but I just want to say, you know, the one thing that all Virginia have in common. Do you know what that is?
What's that?
Persistence.
They left.
No, they left. Yeah, of course.
They left.
Of course, they left.
Yeah,
they left.
And so, I think that, you know, I wanna, and what's beautiful about the migration, and I'm gonna, you know, just give this information here, is the migration that happened to West Virginia when, you know, Black folks came up from the South, right? And they came to West Virginia as sort of a utopian village. This particular set of people, not the folks that were in West Virginia, but this wave of migration that came up from the South because, one, you weren't going to get lynched in West Virginia, although that's not exactly true. At least that was the mythology. And you could make a living wage, meaning you were going to make as much money in a coal mine as your white as your white coal miner. So West Virginia became sort of this utopian from the South. So in other words, what happened was you just kind of went from the hard place to the rock, or the rock to the hard place once people arrived in West Virginia.
Right.
And if you study the migration, right, when our genius ancestors, right, they said, you know what, I'm going to mine this coal, but I'm going to get every single one of my kids out of here. And to me, that's what happened. And that's the genius of that Black folks don't get the credit for in West Virginia, and that is that they had the foresight to know that this coal was not going to last. And they got out. The 50s, the 60s, everyone migrated to Detroit. And so, you know, to me, that tells a story. We follow an economic pattern. And right now in West Virginia, there is no economic pattern, right? But what happened in that migration,
exactly right.
In that migration out of the coal fields of West Virginia, one of the things that stands out to me is how they created a pattern and a plan. Meaning that if I'm big sister to 12 brothers and sisters, I'm going to go to the city. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to get set up so that I can go call for my little sister to come stay with me. And then she can call for the next little brother to come stay, right? So that we can get people out of, you know, a hard place. And West Virginia is a hard place as much as I love the land and the beauty of it. So, you know, my vision is to not only create a portal into West Virginia, but out so that people have vision and community. And, you know, I think that, you know, hearing both of you all tonight, you know, when we have community in other places, it allows us to see prosperity and to see where things aren't as uncomfortable and to be in a space with our people. But I'm going to let you all each round up with some closing. Well, I'm not going to let you. I'm going to ask you if you would give us some closing remarks here, and I think we'll play our extra music. But Benny, you got some words for us?
You gonna let Benny go first? Okay, go ahead, Benny.
Hey, wait a minute. I think we might have a caller. Let's see if we have a caller. Hold on.
You got a caller?
I think so. Hello? Do we have a caller? Hello? Hello? Well, I think we did, but okay. Go ahead, Benny. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so I want to thank y'all first for allowing me to come on here and you know, share our space and our energy, you know, on this good Sunday. It's been a real good day for me. I ain't gonna lie. And I believe in everybody who has the right intentions. And you guys, to me, have that intention, and I, like I said, I just want to say thank you, John. You might not know this, but Crystal, she gave me she introduced you to me and kind of let me know who you were. I appreciate a lot of the stuff that you guys have done, and I appreciate you guys entrusting and just extending that opportunity for somebody like me to come on and be a part of the platform. I think that we could do some really wonderful things. I think that we could do some really wonderful things. I believe in us. I believe in my community. I believe in West Virginians. My last quote would be for everybody to go ahead and vote. Your vote does matter. It don't nothing matter. Everybody want to scream Black Lives Matter. Black lives don't matter unless your vote get out here and get to mattering. So, like, that's my last closing comment, man. Is just like we have to start engaging and talking and understanding and just start getting together to more with each other. So I want to thank y'all guys, man, and I honestly appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's thank you too, brother. And I would add on. I'd follow up and tell you that I'm redefining myself. Okay, when I say redefining myself, looking up underneath the official record as a researcher investigator. And if we look up under the official record of what is known as de facto West Virginia, we actually have something to be proud about. Okay, meaning in the Monongahela and the Kanawha and the Kanawha Valley. Let's use the indigenous term in defining our utilizing the ancient American definitions that were given to us before the colonial settler arrival. Okay, and see, I took time to redefine my existence. I'm still working on that since I'm here in what is known as what I call de facto West Virginia. Okay. I think.
What do you mean by that, John? What do you mean by de facto West Virginia?
I'm gonna tell you. I have to explain it. When I say de facto, the name West Virginia, and these are all names and that were given to us. But I define myself as an original inhabitant. These are the names that were given to us by a settler population. These are not legitimate names to define this state, this area. So I call it de facto, and anybody study the history of what is known as, I call it de facto West Virginia. And if you actually study the history of it, there's a question about whether or not the separation of West Virginia from Virginia, whether or not that was legitimate. But I go beyond that, because that's white folks' argument. West Virginia and Virginia, that's their argument. Okay, right. As an original inhabitants, we claim a pre-Columbus status that really does make us exceptional people that have not been properly recognized. And so what I'm saying is, we are the exceptional people, and we must demand a redefinition of our status based upon actual facts. Okay, and that takes study, but I believe the facts are there. Okay, so once armed with these proper facts, all the facts are in our favor. To tell the truth, we have to make our demands known. Our demands for remedy and repair and restoration. Remedy, repair, restoration, restore the original inhabitants. So this is a little bit rhetoric, but I'm passionate about this, and I thank you for your information. I thank Crystal for what she's doing, because we're 10 years in getting on the airwaves and continuing to archive and document and set the frame of reference for another generation to come past and pick up these facts and make sure these disparities are corrected, make sure our demands are met. When I say demands, remedy, the demand is for a remedy to the statistical disparities, restoration of the original inhabitants, the true American. So I have some source material that can back that up. And so we hope that you and I, Crystal, will be able to continue to communicate more and more with each other. And we'll continue to grow and develop in terms of getting information out to our people where they can make proper, what I call de jure definitions as opposed to de facto definitions based upon actual facts and not lies, history, mystery.
We're gonna
we're
gonna try to get this caller around one more time. I think we got someone. Hello, do we have a caller there? Hello, do we have a caller? Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, John. This is Brees Muhammad.
Hey, what's going on, brother? Salam alaikum.
All right. Alaykum salam. Yeah, I'm calling from New Jersey. I was just listening, and it just connected me on. I didn't know it connected me on before. You know.
Go ahead, brother. This is like my brother-in-law. Okay, he's a good brother, and I just interviewed Brother Idris about last month. Was it last month, brother? Brother Idris came through from New Jersey, came through the Monongahela Valley area.
We talk about it, but everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from West Virginia. I'm from Fairmont.
Did you enjoy it, sir?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah,
well,
I liked
good.
it.
Okay.
And we're just getting started.
Your spin on the IQ? No. What's your spin on the IQ contract, Brother Idris? What you think about that?
I like to see what happens as a result of it. You know, if anything comes through, or it was just another pat on the head. You heard what you had to say and move on. You know, or whether it's going to be something that's going to be substantial. You know, and so I listen to different people to hear what their feedback is on it. You know, like Jason Black, Professor Black, maybe Tariq Nasheed or somebody else, Professor Griff. I listen to whatever they're saying, you know, or other people might listen.
Yes, sir.
To kind of triangulate everything, what everybody's saying, because everybody's focusing on it, you know, from their perspective, you know, and kind of see the direction where it's going, if it's really happening or whatever like that.
I was telling the brothers and sisters, I think he did the right thing in serving notice that we have, for certain tangibles, to use a word that I got from Tariq Nasheed, tangibles. This is what we want.
Yeah, Dr. Claude Anderson did that with Barack Obama, and nothing came through. He presented Clinton and Barack Obama. You know,
I didn't know that.
A Marshall Plan for the black community, and I believe that Ice Cube contacted Dr. Claude Anderson, so I consulted with him. I don't know what that conversation was about. But definitely had to consult the elders who dealt with it before. This stuff hasn't been dealt with before, and nothing has happened.
So they got together and went back in again. Ice Cube.
Yeah,
now you said Claude Anderson had put that before Barack Obama. Barack Obama disregarded it, but Claude Anderson goes back in again through Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that means that's telling us that we got to keep going at it, keep hitting them off.
Oh, definitely. Because if you're in it's like a squadron, you know. Everybody comes in at two different angles, you know. But keep firing.
Yeah, that's how you win.
Yeah.
You know.
Keep going at the top.
That's been my experience. You win when you hit them from different angles. This man going this way, this man is going another way, that man over there going another way. That's how they do us. That's how racism and white supremacy is. You get hit with that from all different angles.
Yeah. I think it was Roosevelt's was telling one of the black leaders at the time about whatever they was talking about. And Roosevelt told him, he said, "Make me do what you're saying." You know what I'm saying? Like, he's in a position of power, but you got to press him so much that you got to make him do it. Not that he won't do it, but you got to make him do it.
You got to make him do it.
Yeah, you got to make them do it. You got to keep pressing and pressing and pressing, so they have to do it.
Your wife won't marry. She might not marry you. Well, I was getting ready to say, if you was trying to approach a woman, the first time you crack, she might be like, "Nah, I ain't giving you." You might have to pursue her, be persistent and consistent with that before you be able to get her. You wouldn't be able to get her just on the first crack.
Yeah, you might have to use different tactics. You might have to put up a flare.
Might have to use
smoke check,
right?
Flashlight. Get their attention, you know.
Well, I am so glad that we had a call in, and we had a great show. Benny had to take his daughter home, and I just appreciate the community tonight, John. And so I think we're running out of time here, but want to remind everybody to please follow the Shabazz Report on YouTube. We put the link in the show notes. And follow the Culture Cache. That's Benny's podcast. And please sign up for blackbygod.org. And with that, John, you wanna take us out?
I would just tell everybody to stay strong and make sure you get plenty of rest, plenty of water so you don't get dehydrated. Because as I was talking to I was interviewed by Jimmy Gardner for Freedom Fighter Friday, and he and I were talking, and it was like, you gotta do what you gotta do to take care of yourself first, because of the stress of the situation, the condition that we're in, right? And we're gonna come through this. We some of the strongest people out here. Okay, so I just look at it like I tell the brothers and sisters that stay on your post. Stay, as the Muslims say, stay on your deen, and be optimistic. Okay, because as I said before, we're an exceptional people, and we have to look at it like that. That's I gotta be optimistic on all things. You know me,
right.
sis. Gotta be optimistic.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right, and we and in the truth. So I hope that we can all have a blessed week and join back again together next Sunday at 7 o'clock for Black by God, West Virginia's only problem show.